Hello everyone, this is the Raptor, and I saw Transformers 1, not once, but twice. Only other movie or other Transformer movie that I've ever done that for was Bumblebee. So I mean that just goes to show like this was worth going to the theaters for. And I swear, whoever at Paramount is in charge of marketing, they need to get fired because this is the exact same bullshit that happened with Dungeons and Dragons. Like Honor Among Thieves was amazing, and the marketing, I mean, the trailer wasn't so bad, but it's like everything around the trailers, like with all the like news articles and stuff saying like, oh, it's supposed to be like the main character is like a beta or something of that sort, and I was like, oh my god, this is so stupid. But the movie itself was actually good, and like it's honestly it's the first Dungeons and Dragons movie that actually was on point with the game. All the previous Dungeons and Dragons movies, they did the same mistake as Warcraft, which is like they made the movies so heavy with the lore, and it's like, no, you completely missed the point of Dungeons and Dragons. As someone who plays Dungeons and Dragons, the lore is not the main focal point. The main focal point of the game is the shenanigans that the players do. And Honor Among Thieves did it right, and they kept it in universe. So it's like you can still understand the jokes within the universe, but like even if you never played Dungeons and Dragons, you would still be able to understand the jokes too. Yeah, Paramount, really take a really hard look at your marketing team and just fire them because they did Transformers 1 so dirty. Like that initial trailer. I know this trailer. Everyone's seen this trailer. It they really market it as kid-friendly, Toy Story-esque, Marvel-esque kind of movie, but it was really like, this second trailer that actually got the marketing on point. It actually got the story of the movie on point. And I'm like really upset because I almost missed out watching this movie in theaters because originally it was supposed to be touted as the prequel to the Bayformers, which, as you know, not a big fan of the Bayformers, but I feel like this is like the perfect 40th anniversary movie because they took 40 years of previously established Transformers lore and condensed it into a pretty cohesive story. I know a lot of Transformers fans aren't a big fan of that, but I understand like they only had like what less than 2 hours to convey the story of Optimus Prime and Megatron. So there's only so much they can do to keep it within established lore while still making it comprehensible enough for the average moviegoer, which I mean, let's be honest, Transformers need more fans. They don't need less of them. So, yeah, Transformers 1, I mean, my only nitpick was that they made Bumblebee neurodivergent, which, I mean, I guess they kind of need a bit of comedy relief, and he was the comedic relief for the story of the movie. But design wise, they did take a lot of cues from the original 1984 cartoon, in which Orion Pax he looked funky. He looked funky. Let's just say he looked funky. So they really took those cartoon designs and really like made it more modernized because the original cartoon Orion Pax, the pre-Optimus Prime, he did have a very human-esque face, which I didn't care for, but they actually really improved on it. They made him more like robotic in Transformers 1, so that I appreciate. Another thing was this Alita 1, because she's previously known as Ariel, and who also had a pretty funky pre-design as well. But I guess it makes sense that she'd already be known as Alita 1 in here because she's like the sort of supervisor of the miners, or that particular unit of miners in the movie. So I guess it makes sense to just skip ahead and just have her already be Alita 1 rather than try to shoehorn that story where Ariel becomes Alita 1. Because, I mean, the whole crux of this movie is Orion Pax becoming Optimus Prime. And then the whole story with, like, Megatron and Optimus being friends, that wasn't in the original cartoon. The original cartoon, Megatron was already a big bad from the start. If anything, it's really based on the Aligned continuity, which did reboot that relationship to be like Optimus and Megatron were like former friends. Uh, as far as I'm aware, and even in the comics, I don't think that was the case. Like their backstory was it changed a lot through the years. But I feel like what they did with Transformers 1 was really well done. Jazz lives. I'm very happy about that. I mean, clearly with the story of Transformers 1, just that you know, there's going to be spoilers. Given what happened to Sentinel Prime, this is a complete departure from Bayformers, which I appreciate because Bumblebee was supposed to be a complete departure from Bayformers, but then they really like reined in on the director and it's like, no, this has to be part of Bayformers. You can't just reboot the story, which honestly really needed to be rebooted at that point. And that makes me really frustrated that Bumblebee could have been a much better movie if they just let the director cook. Because originally Megatron was supposed to show up in Bumblebee, which would have just like re- just rebooted the entire cinematic universe of Transformers. But I don't know, the executive producers were like, no, it's still gotta be within line of the Bayformers, which already aren't in line with themselves. Anyways, they're already contradicting themselves from movie to movie. So I don't know why they were so intent on making sure Bumblebee was still tied back to Bayformers, because if anything, it needed to depart from Bayformers. So that's the only thing frustrating about Bumblebee, but Transformers 1 actually like committed to, okay, we're taking a completely different direction from Bayformers. We're doing a whole new story here. And from what I heard, they're actually interested in making this a trilogy. I mean, it could work. If they're going to base it on the original cartoon where they build up to the big bad being Unicron, that would have been fine. Rise of the Beast did a terrible job of that, but if they're actually going to commit to a trilogy for Transformers 1, then I'm down to watch the second movie. I really am. And then I also found out that the Transformers 1, a lot of the world building, it was based on the War for Cybertron video games. I think even I was looking at some of the concept art that got released, and it said High Moon on the concept art and the pre-production notes, which really harkens to like this was by at least the same artist that worked on War for Cybertron and Fall of Cybertron video games, which it just makes me so depressed watching this movie and seeing all those pre-production and designs that they meant to put into the games just ended up being in the movie instead. Like the whole uh, train having the tracks built in front of them to like traverse through Iacon and the surface of Cybertron. That's something that came from War for Cybertron, the video game, not the Netflix series. We don't talk about the Netflix series, but the video game really introduced that element of the world building, and that's something they put in Transformers 1, which I really like. That was pretty cool. I mean, I would really love it if, I mean, since Activision is under Microsoft now, I hope someone at Microsoft would consider getting the original Transformers team at High Moon Studios together again and actually allow them to make the original War for Cybertron trilogy games that they wanted to make, because War for Cybertron and Fall of Cybertron, if you play the games, it feels like they wanted to put more, but given the constraints that Hasbro and Activision gave to them back in like 2010 and 2014 or 2012, it had so much potential, and I wish I could play more of that, but unfortunately both games were like, if you play them both together, they clock out at 20 hours. They're not really long games, but I wish they were longer. So, I mean, fingers crossed that they'll let High Moon Studios go back and remake the War for Cybertron trilogy, because I would really love to see their original vision. Because originally they were gonna design the games to follow the cartoons, so the games were going to serve as a prequel and semi-sequel to the Transformers cartoon, which I was really interested in them seeing them do, because I love the designs of the High Moon Transformers. They're amazing. I love it. So I was really disheartening to hear that after the first game got made, the second one, Hasbro mandated that they had to follow like the aligned continuity, which they didn't want to. They're like, no, this doesn't make any sense for us to make the sequel to the first game, which was originally designed to be a prequel to the 1984 cartoon, and now we're switching gears so it doesn't line up with the 1984 cartoon anymore. So yeah, that's something I'm really hoping. I mean, I guess in this climate of like game studios making remakes of old games, I'm hoping War for Cybertron and Fall of Cybertron would get that treatment and actually become the trilogy that the studio wanted to do. But I mean, we got Transformers 1 out of it. So if we can't get the games, at the very least, maybe the Transformers One movies will take up the charge for that. So yeah, saw it twice, loved it. I mean, I'm still a little iffy about the design, but given that I'm looking at the pre-production notes for it, I have a better understanding of why they went with the designs that they did for the movies. And honestly, having the human robotic faces does allow them to emote better compared to Bayformers, which is just a mishmash of plates moving together. I think Bumblebee did a great job. I feel like if they had followed the design philosophy of Bumblebee, I mean that first like 5 minutes of the movie is the most amazing thing in Transformers live action, and you'd be hard pressed to find any Transformers fan outside of the Bayformer fans who would say like that, and that first 5 minutes of Bumblebee was not cool in some regard compared to Bayformers. Like Transformers One, there's been a lot of memes and fan art that came out of this. I mean, given of course their more simplified designs, like Bumblebee had a good share of like memes and gifs and fan art of that, which is most of them was pretty cool. But Transformers One is like, man, the Transformers art community just went ham on this movie, and of course I had to like see like what memes came out of it, and a lot of really interesting stuff came out of it. So I just want to share some of them that I've seen. There's there's this one by Mass Produced Seagulls on Facebook. I don't know if it's a real character, but yeah, he did this modified screenshot of Sentinel kind of enjoying getting ripped apart by Megatron, and oh boy, I was like, of course I would get this. Of all the memes and edits that I would get of Transformers One, this is like the first one I get to see. Thanks, social media, and yeah, it did make it, and it's been reposted everywhere. Ah, geez, guilty or innocent. There are minors here. Oh my gosh, the minors meme is just like it's through the roof. I don't know what to say. It's just crazy. There's this one that someone did where they Photoshop P Diddy's face on Sentinel, and I was like, oh my gosh, you guys are unbelievable. I don't know what to say. That was so bad, but it's just like you can't help but like, okay, that's funny, but it's bad, but it's funny. But yeah, it's just man, the minor jokes just keep going and going. Good sir, this is disgusting, gross, and overall lacking any common courtesy. So do you do commissions? And a horny jail to all of you. Why would you regret redoing something that's clearly a public service? The D&D 16. Oh my gosh. Ah, jeez. Yeah, there's this that shot from the 1984 cartoon. It's like, who was it in the boardroom meeting that looked at storyboarding for this episode and thought, yeah, that's a good shot. Let's print it. Oh, so yeah, Transformers. It's always been pretty. Oh my gosh, they added the poor Ars Transformers Prime RC. Oh no, Optimus not happy. Ah, jeez. And there's some nice wholesome. Let's go to the wholesome stuff. So this one, uh, this person on Twitter. I'm calling it Twitter. I'm not calling it X. Anyways, yeah. So it's Orion taking out this Megatronus sticker. Like, oh, it's so cute. And another time, why do so many artists tend to draw minors? Like, this is not gonna end. We're just gonna have minor jokes like forever and ever. Yeah, that was cute. And then there's this one. Oh my gosh, they brought in a prisoner, sir. Finally, up subject for a new whip. Sean, why haven't you seen that? Throw him out. That one scene in the movie where it's like, why is he gagged? Because he wouldn't stop talking, even when unconscious, especially unconscious. I was like, oh, poor Shockwave. Yeah, the original Japanese, so they translated it. But it's oh, neurodivergent Bumblebee. I mean, I know a lot of people are annoyed that they made Bumblebee neurodivergent in here, and so he's very chatty. But as someone who's worked with neurodivergent people, I just learned to tune out the chattiness because it doesn't bother me as much because I've just learned to like, tolerate it. But I know some people have a very low tolerance for neurodivergent behaviors, which is, I mean, it's fair because not everyone knows how to tolerate that or like deal with that. So, I mean, it's rough for the neurodivergent people, but I mean, there's people like me around. Like, you don't bother me as much as other people, so just know that you're not alone. Hot Ones. I was like, dude, I was straight up watching animated Hot Ones with Optimus and Megatron, or Orion and D16 taking on some hot sauce, even though technically Transformers can't taste anything, but yeah. Ah, jeez. Yeah, pretty fun. Oh, and then there's this one artist who's doing this like ongoing series of comics where it's like Alita is like a mom to neurodivergent Bumblebee and trying to like properly socialize him into society because the reason Bumblebee got sent down to sub level 50 was because people or the other Transformers couldn't deal with this neurodivergent um, personality. So this one is like Alita B has been having a hard time reintegrating into society. He needs someone to be there for him. I'm counting on you. And then she's thinking back to how she like gave Orion that pep talk. He's like, I'm better than you, powerfully of Iacon. Okay, tough love. And then she goes, hey V, listen, you will never fit in because she's like immediately regrets it. Say, because he is special, that would make him stand out. It made me stupid. She's trying her best. It's not her fault. She's as badly socialized as the rest of them. Literally, oh my gosh, this is gonna be the most widely used like GIF of Bumblebee ever. Alita, please, that isn't Orion. She gave the worst possible whiplash known to bot. That neck is like 360 turned around 2 times. Yeah, that's fun. Oh yeah, and then here's the ongoing saga. I swear to Primus, ever since Optimus assigned me to mentor that little annoying bug, my life has been a living hell. And Jazz all laughing it up. I don't think I could stand another minute of his yapping. I couldn't care less about him. And then old Jazz, yeah, I have my shift off tomorrow. I could take him off your hands if you want. And then Lita's like, what? No, you wouldn't do it right. You'd mess up my training. You don't know how he learns. He needs me. She's like, she loves him. And then he goes like talking jabbery, and she's like, this is too bad. And here's another one with Big Bro Jazz. I mean, I love me a good wholesome Jazz comic, and when he got his wings in the movie, I was like, my baby. A cool older cousin that was really chill and fun to be around. Hey Squirt, me and some of the guys are gonna go street racing. Wanna come? Hanging out with the guys? As in real guys, not made out of trash? As in potential new best friends? Of course! This guy really needs to get out more. Yeah, sure, just don't tell Alita. She'll freak if she found out I took you. And then it's like, all this selective, like, listening to then after I said Energon, I visit Aura Optimus to discuss top secret government plans since I'm like super high ranking and stuff like that. She pointed out, but he must have noticed how awesome I was doing at listening to him. So he let me leave early, told me to go explore Icon. I ran to Jazz. He invited me to go street racing with the guys who aren't dead like my other friends. And he was like, don't tell Alita. And I went, and she's like, wait, what was that? She's like, what was that? And then you see at the meeting, Alita's like staring at Jazz across the conference table. And poor little derpy Bumblebee. It's like, oh. I don't know why, but I just imagine Bumblebee wanders off, somehow find Megatron and Decepticons. Hey D, oh, my me Megatron, hi, it's me, it's Bumblebee, I can see you through the glass, can you see me? And the con stare at him. It's like, oh my goodness. Yay, Chad. My son, he's goofy, unaware this action will befall in another man's undoing. Oh, and then here's like a sequel to that. B, you want to keep doing cool, fun stuff? Yeah, then you can't be telling Alita, okay? But I always tell her about my day. Okay, yes, but this has to be secret, okay? Otherwise, we can't do cool stuff anymore. Okay, jeez. It's like blah 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 blah. Blah. And Jazz to get to tell me what? Jazz, what? Hee I can't tell you. Hee hee. Flipping table. And then Jazz gets a broken arm. It's like, oh. Ah, jeez, lifespan increased. She is tweaking out. Alita's design, her original design was a bit much. So I actually kind of appreciate the redesign they gave her in Transformers One, where her head shape wasn't a bit like out there. But oh my gosh, her face is sending me. Oh, and then we have like the you know, the non-funny art. Like this one's good. This was like someone did a reinterpretation of when they finally became Optimus Prime and Megatron. Optimus just like Megatron doesn't even want to look him in the face. The first thing I thought when I see this was like, ah, my heart. Literally that one meme, bro. I love that this is basically the point of view of each of them. Optimus looking at his friend in full in pain, seeing what he has become. Yet Megatron can't look at the one he betrayed in the eyes, whether it be from shame or anger. It's so good. Yeah, this was really good. I like this. And of course, I feel like movie designs are so boring now because just like they just plaster the entire cast and they put like a filter or something over it. Like the all the Disney and the like what's that one meme where it's like the poster for Aladdin, Star Wars, and something from Marvel, and people are like, I've seen all three movies. I still can't understand what the story is about because literally they just plaster the cast and put like a red and blue gradient on it. And I was like, how is this supposed to differentiate your movie from the other movies? It's just boring. It's so boring. Like this would have gotten me into Transformers 1 like a lot quicker. Any comments? Oh, this. So I didn't really notice it on my first viewing of the movie, but the second viewing, that was when I realized like Wheeljack was the one that hit the unstable vein and caused the tunnel collapse. So someone did like this like 1984 Wheeljack, Transformers Prime Wheeljack, and then Transformers 1 Wheeljack. It's like, oh, poor Jez. And then he's got D16 Orion going, Urgh. It's like, oh, my poor boy. No matter what universe he's in, he gets the last boom. My baby. Oh, jeez. Oh, it's amazing. Oh man, here you go, another one. Till all are one. It's like there's like so much good memes and art coming from this movie. That's how you know you've really like pleased the fan base. Here we go, is another. I mean, this is kind of like cast heavy too, but that previous one, what was it? Yeah, this one was like, if you have done a poster like something along this line, like I think you would have gotten a lot more people watching the movie because it's just like when you stuff your poster with too many characters, like this is fine. Like I feel like 6 or 7 characters max, and then just like have the rest of the poster like try to convey the tone of the movie. Because I feel like nowadays movie posters are just like there's so much going on in them. Oh my gosh, that's cool. It's the G1 designs. Girl Optimus. I don't know. It's like this trend of like girlifying the characters. I mean, it's not too far off because there's been some episodes in the 1984 cartoon where like the Transformers become humans and the humans become Transformers. Like they started it. Okay, Hasbro and Takara Tomy and Marvel, they the ones started. Yeah, Marvel was the original writers of the Transformers lore back in 1984. Like a lot of the initial foundation for Transformers lore came from Marvel. So I blame Marvel. But yeah, this is awesome. This is some cool art. But yeah, much as boy, beachcomber, got cliff jumper. Oh yeah, so I found out cliff jumper is supposed to be a Porsche too, because but it's like for some reason his alt mode is like they took a Porsche and like chibified it, so it's a chibified Porsche. So technically, him and Jazz should team up more because they're both Porsches. He's yeah, he shouldn't be a mini bot like Bumblebee, but I don't know. That's a weird. But yeah, I love Transformers One. I'm down to get the DVD. I'm glad that they're releasing like physical media again because I know a lot of people are getting really upset with the whole streaming service thing. How like they're paying a subscription for a streaming service and they're not getting all the movies because they're just removing movies or censoring them and all this stuff. Me, I never fell out of buying DVDs because I've always been interested in getting DVDs and physical media because like one, I like to collect the artwork, and two, I like watching the behind the scenes stuff. And a lot of times when you're watching movies on streaming service, they don't include the behind the scenes content, which I really enjoy. So that's like my main reason for continuing to collect DVDs. I don't know if I have Bumblebee. Like I don't I really need to organize my room. I have a lot of DVDs that are just all over the place, but I was really hoping for Bumblebee to kickstart a Transformers live action cinematic universe because like I can see like the next movie being like they could do a whole series of movies based on like singular Autobots, and then it's like with Bumblebee like he joined up with Optimus Prime at the end of that movie, so then they just go around like finding all the other Autobots and like slowly growing up their team. Like that would have been a great way to reboot the Transformers cinematic universe. But then they came out with Rise of the Beast, which was technically a Bumblebee sequel and the Beast Wars movie mashed together into a incoherent mess of a movie. I still enjoy it more than a Bayformers movie, but Rise of the Beast, like, it's the same problem with Bumblebee. It could have been so much better if they just let the studio cook and not interfere with the production. But I mean, I get it. They were trying to save money by just like, why should we have two Transformers productions when we could just merge them into one? But it's like, Beast Wars does not make sense to be existing at the same time as the Autobot and Decepticon conflict. It's like, none of that made any sense. So, yeah, Transformers 1, if you guys have it in theaters in your area, I do recommend watching it in theaters. Like, the landscape of Cybertron and Iacon is like, you can't really comprehend how grand it is on like a small screen. Like you really have that's like one of the few movies that I really recommend watching on the big screen. But yeah, I really like Transformers 1. The after credit scene could have been different. I don't know. Cuz a lot of people say like they should have switched the Decepticon rising scene with the Beat 127 going back to like sub level 50 and like talking to his his robot friends. Like they could have switched that around and it would still work. But I'm like, I don't know. I feel like I mean I'm not a big fan of after credit scenes. Like just show everything you want to show before the credits. Because I'm like I feel like every movie nowadays wants to be like a video game where it's like, oh, there's a secret ending, but you have to like get through this to get to that or do all this little stuff. And I'm like, dude, I'm already showing up to watch your movie in theaters. Like, why are you making me have to like wait longer to see your secret ending? It's a little ridiculous. I mean, the ending credits was like fun to watch at least, but come on, just can we just stop with the ending credits or the after credit scenes? I think the Marvel Cinematic Universe like popularized it. I'm not a fan. Just show me everything, and then when the credit hits, let me leave. So that's all I have to say about Transformers 1. Watch it in theaters if you can. Definitely gonna get the DVD. Soundtrack is bomb. They brought back the composer who did Transformers Prime, which is also could have been better. Like I find it funny that to this day, Transformers animated media is still afflicted with the third season curse. Because I just recently heard like what was that recent one, Transformers Earthspark. Like I haven't really watched the animated series since like Transformers Prime because Prime was like disappointment. But there's been like a continual pattern of like every time a Transformers animated series hits season 3, that's when it all goes downhill. And it's like, I don't know, I feel like Hasbro just doesn't want to let creative people cook. It's like once they hit that third season, it's like, okay, we're gonna rush through this and move on to the next series. I'm like, why? Why can't you just let them finish the series on a high note the way they envisioned it? Why does it always have to be, oh, third season, rush job. Third season, rush job. Third season, cut it short, rush job. I mean, Hasbro's already like fallen to the wayside in that regard, but it just sucks because Transformers. I'm just surprised Transformers One even exists because I was like, I thought Transformers is not allowed to be this good. Like the fact that it's so good, I was like, it surprised me because I usually Hasbro or Paramount or the powers may be just won't let a Transformers piece of media just be good from beginning to end. So yeah, that's all I have to say about it. Love it. I would like to get figures of all the characters, but there's just too many. And especially all the background characters, because I clearly saw like Ironhide and uh, Sideswipe and all this other extra the cog list, and then you have the people the version with the cogs. So uh, it just sucks that the marketing did this movie so dirty. Because since the first trailer turned people off, obviously kids aren't going to be interested in watching it, and of course they're not going to be interested in buying the toys, which is Hasbro's big thing. Is like, we don't care if the movie is successful as long as it results in successful toy sales, and that doesn't look like it's going to be happening. So yeah, that'll be all for now. Until next time, this is Zero Raptor signing off. Laters.